There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Welcome into Program Guys Podcast. I'm Matthew Gann. This is Patrick Kurtzberger, Ryan Tyson, Mark Hall, and Mason Prince. Mason's on the road right now. The boys are in Dallas, and Patrick decided to make it after his workload of the day. Welcome in, everybody. How we feeling today? Tyson, start us off like you always do.
That was great. Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it.
I guess we'll just leave it.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it. But
it's a lot better if we don't. Just Ryan, how you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. I had a really great night last night. We'll talk about that more in the pod. Super excited about it. Yeah, overall feeling good. Works better this week than it has been, so that's nice. Yeah, feeling good, guys. How are you?
Great, Matt. Tell the people how they can like and subscribe.
They can like and subscribe on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. This link below, if you haven't subscribed, there's a 90% chance that you're not subscribed to the program. We did recently hit 1,500, so I want to thank all the subscribers that have hit that button. But if you're listening right now, like I just said, there's a good chance that you have not subscribed. There's a link right below this video. Please hit. It only helps us out to produce all the content we do and what Mason does behind the scenes, putting it all together with Trevor. So I want to welcome you in. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about. NBA, NHL, some OU football news, you name it.
Yeah, I was about to say he threw that NHL.
Yeah, he thinks he's really going to slide.
You can definitely have an MVP of the week and talk your NHL, but I mean, yeah, for sure. Okay, boys, welcome in. I'm in Brookland, Texas. I was going to reach out to the boys, a little behind the scenes. I was going to reach out to the boys, but my maps didn't take me through Dallas, so there was no reason. So I was like too far east of Dallas. I didn't even go through Dallas anyway. So I went like the Paris route from Tulsa, like Tulsa down through Paris.
You stayed in like East Texas.
Yeah. I'm near the Louisiana border.
Did you go through like Tyler and stuff?
No, I didn't even get to go see Tyler. I'm north of Jasper, if that means anything to anyone.
It doesn't really mean anything to me, but I just know it's East Texas way over there.
It's lit. Absolutely. Yeah. Patrick, I'm digging the flannel. Is it a flannel? Is it flannel season in California? People are asking.
Well, yeah, it kind of is. Just depends. June gloom is coming around the corner, and it can get a little cool.
June gloom? Hold on.
Is that a real thing?
Back up. This is like a real thing.
In California, they call it that, or just
like June gloom? Yeah, it's
interesting.
It's gloomy. It's gray in June in California. Not a lot of people talk about it, but
it's
also
it's like El Nino, right?
Just
like
the same thing. Yeah.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
That is not correct.
Just the same thing.
But I also had a lot of work calls, so I decided to put on a button down today. That's the main reason for the flannel. I don't like putting down on like actual dress shirts. I don't need to do that. I'm at home, right? So this is like my in between.
Yeah, I feel that.
Sometimes I like to go with the black t-shirt. Let them know, I'm still casual. I am working from home hard on this one, guys.
Yeah,
big facts. I can support that. All right, boys, let's get into some football news. Some OU football news. The team currently does not have
everyone.
What? Yeah, not everyone. Not everyone. Good call. Not everybody, but a select amount. I don't really know how they went through that process. I'm sure guys signed up and had to meet a certain criteria, but they're down in South Africa. I'm burying the lead exponentially. Bearing the lead. They're in South Africa, and they are there and have been there for like a couple of days now, I believe.
Yeah.
I saw Andrew Rame for sure in a video, I believe. He's a very distinct looking individual, so I'm pretty sure that was Andrew Rame. In terms of other players, anybody else know of any guys you've seen in videos?
Just to be clear, they're there with the Soul Mission group on a service trip. These guys are choosing to spend some of their time away from football, away from practicing all the time, to give back, and I don't know what they're doing in South Africa. I wish that I knew, but it seems like the Twitter videos are just guys kind of looking at the jungle and playing with kids.
They're probably like
and
volunteering
that's
and stuff,
cool.
right?
I'm sure
I would imagine
they're
like volunteering and like
I'm sure there's a volunteering aspect
something,
of it.
Service of some sort.
Yeah, service of some kind.
I know Ethan Downs is there. I saw him in one of the videos. He seems to be a mainstay with stuff like this. Really cool that they're doing that. Away from that, I know some guys are taking advantage of the time off to do micro internships, which is something that Brent and the team introduced last year. Woody Washington and Jason Llewellyn are interested in broadcasting stuff after their careers, and Woody wants a podcast, so maybe we reach out and throw him a segment or two. But inside the helmet,
like it,
with Woody Washington, a Program Guys podcast. Not bad, right?
Not bad at all.
It's just cool to see them setting up the guys with time like this.
For sure. Anybody else on the Soul Mission? Gotta love it. Let us know down below in the comments. We read every single one of your comments. We had a great episode last week. Comment section was firing off with the people. Love to see it. We enjoy it every time. 1,500 subs. Like Matt said, that was a massive milestone that we've been trying to hit for a while. Thank you all for subscribing. If you know somebody who's not subscribed, maybe give them a little nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Say, hey, the boys, hop on the train. You know what I mean? They got something rolling here in this Program Guys podcast. You know what I'm saying? Some other OU news. Let's go with some commitments, boys. Commitments that will transfer to OU for the 2023 season. Defensive end Lane Jenkins, 6'6", 255 from El Dorado, Kansas. What is it, Mark?
No.
Oh, okay. I saw you make a face. I was like,
I don't know this guy.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
the whole thing.
He's from El Dorado, Kansas. Butler Community College transfer. 8 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks as a true freshman at the community college. Defensive end Kyle Carson, Highland Park High School. That's down in Dallas, 6'3", 205. Mark thinks he's a walk-on. Mark, what do you got to say about this fella?
Not a lot. I just don't believe that anyone would be signing at this point in time if they were giving themselves a scholarship. So I think that there's probably some sort of ties there, and it's another body to throw at the defensive end room. And sort of the same thing with the first guy, this Lane Jenkins guy, 6'6", 255. That's really good size. He had 8 tackles last year at a community college. So he's just a block of clay, right? It's similar to me to the Devon Sears pickup out of Texas State. We'll see what happens. What's so funny, Ryan?
He's a block of clay.
Calling a human being a block of clay is what's
the mold. Yeah.
Needs to be molded.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you meant by that. I thought you just meant like a block of clay that just sits there and like does nothing.
No, okay. I guess I need to like completely finish my metaphors.
Sorry.
So here's where I'm at with these two guys coming in. Like, yeah, you're adding bodies. I don't think anybody thinks these guys are going to make an impact at least right away or anything like that. I just, to Mark's point, not knowing who these guys are, like nobody's really heard of these guys. I sincerely hope, and I don't think this is a thing at all. I'm being too weird about this, but I hope this staff isn't banking on these one-off flyer guys to like hopefully pan out. I really hope that we're not like hoping we hit a jackpot on somebody because like, wow, our defensive ends just aren't up to snuff. Hopefully these two guys just happen to work out and maybe can give us some depth. That's not a way to live in today's college football. I don't think that's what's happening, but the bad parts of my brain, that's what's going on. And this is what this is for, right? For us to talk out our issues. That's where my issue lies right now.
Therapy, baby.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm just, I know this staff is smarter than that and better than that, but it just scares me because this isn't the only podcast where we've talked about guys committing and we're like, who the hell is that guy? So it's just, it makes me nervous. That's all. Yeah, and again, we're not recruiting experts. We're not recruiting experts. So maybe if you are a recruiting expert, you know who the hell these guys are, and we don't. I don't know. Go ahead, Patrick. I interrupted.
No, it's fine. First thing I'll address, sometimes we are recruiting experts. Secondly, there is definitely a way to look at this in like a pessimistic type of way. Like, it's concerning that last week we talked about, hey, who would we add in the transfer portal, if anything? That's what we talked about. And I guess Brent Venables said defensive end is what he needed still, which is a concerning thing. Like, why at this point are we picking up 2 defensive ends going into the season at this point in the year? And then guys who, like, Kyle Carlson's a 0-star. He didn't get scholarships anywhere, but he's good enough to come play at the University of Oklahoma. Lane Jenkins, hey, could be a dime in the rough, but we don't know. So I don't know. It's interesting. That's for sure.
And that's a good point, Patrick. Like, who after spring left? Like, why do you feel the need to add guys now? Who in your defensive end room bailed out that you feel like you need to add more depth in there or more guys to compete? I just don't understand. Matt, hop in there. You got anything to add?
I just don't think there's really too big an issue here. I think, like Mark mentioned, at this
point,
tell
me I'm overreacting. Just tell me I'm overreacting.
I think so. I think from the transfer portals or the transfer portal moves we made earlier, especially on the defensive side of the ball with Trace Ford and some of those guys, those are the guys we wanted at the very beginning and got. I think to Mark, to this point, at this time of the season, now we're just finding opportunities for people walking on, people not necessarily getting scholarships, but there's always going to be opportunities for guys like this who have no names, don't really have a lot to them, give them opportunities to play. And I don't think there's any risk to it or downside, right, to jump bodies in there, brood competition and see where it goes. But I wouldn't put too much of an emphasis on these guys. They're just more bodies in the room, and you never know what could happen. But I think the earlier moves that BB has made, those are the guys that are really going to make a difference and impact. These guys, spring camp, see what they can do, go from there.
Matt, that's a great point. I wanted to just point out the differences between what we were starting with last year and where we're looking right now. So the first depth chart we released against UTEP, August 29th. There are 2 defensive end spots listed, right? Reggie Grimes, Marcus Stripling, or R. Mason Thomas. On the other one, Ethan Downs, Jonah Laulu, or R. Mason Thomas. Those are some names we all know, right? We were talking ourselves in pretty good last year. Let me go. This is not a depth chart. This is just an alphabetical order by the defensive end position on ourlads.com. PJ Adebawore, defensive end. Rondell Bothroyd, defensive end. Ethan Downs, love Ethan, defensive end. Trace Ford, incoming guy, defensive end. Reggie Grimes, mainstay, coming back, defensive end. And Jonah Laulu, he's actually playing tackle this year. I like that move. And sorry, guys, I should have had this listed better. Marcus Stripling and R. Mason Thomas. That's a better list. There's more talent in that list. You already have PJ in there. You already have Trace Ford in there. You already have Rondell Bothroyd in there. Those are your big guys that are coming in. I think these other 2 dudes, they're practice bodies. They're fun. They get to line up and put on a jersey sometimes, some games, I'm sure. But I don't think that we're going to see these guys really make a difference.
Anybody else, anything on those 2 guys before we move on? Perfect. Some recruiting news to get to now. 2024 defensive lineman Zadavian Sims announces his commitment on Saturday, 3:45 Central Time. He's 6'4", 235, 4 stars from Durant. Gotta win those in-state guys, man. Have to.
Got to.
Absolutely have to. Sooners in the race against Michigan State and Oregon. 247 on 3 have him going to Michigan State. Rivals has him going to OU. So, take that for what it's worth. We'll start with this before we move on. Again, you have to win in-state, guys. He's a 4-star in-state guy. It's got to get done. I don't care what you got to do. This is the kind of stuff the old staff didn't do, and it bit him in the butt. You have to do this. You have to get this guy. I'm not saying the season's a loss or the class is a loss if they don't, but you need to get this guy. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think this is really important. I think this guy, whatever he decides, is going to be a domino effect for, I know what we're about to talk about, some of the other recruits that are coming to the summer barbecue this upcoming June. But for guys like Nigel Smith and David Stone being another Oklahoma City guy as well, if this Sims guy goes to Michigan State, then I'm going to feel a lot worse about these other guys, especially David Stone being an in-state guy himself. So whatever Sims decide is going to really have, I think, a big impact on some of these other guys. And these are 4 or 5-star level guys, all on the defensive line. I mean, can you imagine we had Sims, Nigel Smith, and David Stone all coming in on the defensive line? That would be insane. Not saying we're going to get all of them, but what Sims decide is definitely going to have a pretty big impact on those others.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Matt, with David Stone. He's also between OU and Michigan State. So, I mean, if we lose 2 Oklahoma guys in Michigan State, there's a real issue. We have to win.
How does that happen? How does that happen if that happens, man?
I don't think we're losing David Stone.
It's not happening.
I know.
Well, we talk about it every week, and it might happen.
We do talk about it every week.
Bro, we really do.
And David Stone loves that. He loves.
Listen, this is the number one David Stone podcast in the podcast sphere. Okay.
Yeah.
So David, come on the show. Let's talk about it. You know you're a program guy. We know you're a program guy. Mark knows you're a program guy for sure. He's not worried at all. So why don't you and Mark come on and hash it out?
Mark, are you ready?
We'll figure it out.
Are you ready?
We can do the announcement on the show. Actually,
that would be good.
Is this? Are we ready for a program guy crystal ball yet, or is that like we gotta wait?
Ooh, good question.
You're putting your 100% accuracy.
You're really
on
putting
the line
me
here.
on the spot here. Let me make some calls after the pod and see if I can.
We'll check
something.
in. We'll check in next time.
Yeah. Hey, maybe check the Twitter sphere after the pod
Ooh,
drops. We might see what happens. We might see what we got.
Okay.
All right. So
real fast on
Xavier
Sims, you just have to win. You have to win. He's a guy from Durant, Oklahoma. He should have grown up, sooner born, sooner bred, and want to put on the crimson and cream, and you should convince him that that's the right decision. You're playing against 2 teams that are half the freaking world away.
Yeah.
You win this battle. Yeah,
100%. Anybody else on Xavier Sims? All right. So some other recruiting news, 2026 recruit Dominic Sadu Robinson from Dallas. He's 5'11", 160. OU gave him an offer. Notable recruits coming to the barbecue. We mentioned the barbecue, Champion Barbecue. I think that's what it's called. June
family barbecue now.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Threw that in there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
June 16th through the 18th. 4-star defensive lineman Nigel Smith, 5-star defensive tackle David Stone. We talked about him. 5-star defensive end Williams Nwaneri. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
5-star linebacker Sammy Brown. 4-star defensive lineman Joseph Jonah Ajonye. 4-star running back Taylor Tatum. 4-star running back Caden Durham. Those are notables. That's not all of the people. There's going to be a lot of recruits at that thing, but those are the notable ones that, we've talked about on this podcast before. Other podcasts are talking about. Everyone in the OU sphere talks about. Those are massive guys. And if you can land, remember last year, this weekend was massive for OU. It was massive in terms of getting the ball rolling at the beginning of July. I wouldn't expect a lot of commitments to come from this weekend, like immediately after, but again, that's how OU works. This staff works in July. A lot of these guys who are going to be in town for that weekend at the beginning of July are going to say, yeah, no, OU's for me, or OU's not for me. I think that's when we're going to find out on a lot of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is setting us up for a huge summer, and I think we're all just waiting for it. And we need it. We need it. I mean, it's been very quiet the last couple of weeks. We know that. It feels like there's something brewing under the surface, and it kind of has for a while. So I'm expecting after this very, very big visit that's going on, we're gonna start to see the dominoes fall. Maybe not immediately after, but I'm thinking into July, especially. We should start hearing some good news.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard when Georgia's landing 5-star quarterbacks, 2 in the same class, and we're just sitting here twiddling our thumbs, waiting on July to come around. But I mean, I have faith in the staff. They showed us last year that patience is a virtue. So I guess we'll see what happens in July. I think they know how big this upcoming weekend is, and they'll prove that they're the guys to get the job done. Matt?
Like I mentioned, I think this is just a domino to fall. We saw it happen last year. A lot of guys started to commit, especially after this big event, and all the families get to come in. And I just, every time there's an event, I know BV literally takes his time, no matter how long it takes, to talk to each individual player and their family. So this will be a huge environment for BV and the staff to really connect with these guys and make hopefully a lasting impression that will land us some good commits. So we'll have to see what happens.
Patrick?
Yeah, you guys covered it.
Mark, anything that?
Yeah, actually, if you don't mind just giving me 1 second real fast.
Of course I don't mind.
I'll say something. I mean, it just takes a couple of these guys to say, hey, let's come here together. And that's what this weekend's for. And if a few of those guys in the room say, hey, let's come here together, we can have the best defense in the country. And
I know Mark's about to speak. I want to add on to that too, Patrick, because I think it's also especially important about the families. And I think that's why they changed the name, because I know a lot of these kids who are 17 or 18 are going to look at their mom and they're going to be like, what do I do? And if BV has sold OU and the soul mission and academics and everything we got going to the mothers and the fathers of those kids, that is going to get them over that hump. So I think that's a really important aspect of this too.
It's all part of the same thing. We opened with the guys in South Africa on the soul mission and being afforded opportunities with the internships that we weren't doing before Brent introduced the soul mission, right? None of that was a part of the deal. And it's all part of the same thing, adding family to it. The thing that I was doing that I needed a moment for, here's a list of all the guys who committed to Oklahoma that went to the barbecue last year. Caden Green, Anthony Evans, rest in peace, Jackson Arnold, Logan Howland, Jaquez Petaway, Dalen Smothers. Who's PP? Who did I put as PP? Phil Picciotti. Phil Picciotti, Jacoby Johnson, Makari Vickers. I mean, that's massive. Almost 10 guys. That's massive. And it's guys that are going to be the bread and butter of what makes up the class. Jackson Arnold is there. Caden Green is there. He might start this season. Smothers is going to be good. Makari Vickers, Jacoby Johnson, all of these guys, this weekend has the opportunity to, even if it's not immediate, really set a foundation for what the 2024 class becomes.
All I know is if you get Brent Venables in a room with some of these parents, Brent Venables can sell a bottle of Jim Beam to a Baptist pastor. So he can do this. You know what I mean?
He's always got one. He's always got one.
I'm telling you,
it's
bro.
always like Southern. It's kind of like real Oklahoma. I love it, Mace.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. All right, some other OU football news. OU Texas will be broadcast on ABC and not Fox. I'm kind of upset about this because I love Gus Johnson. I know he's polarizing and some people don't like him. I love Gus Johnson for college football. I think he's fantastic. But ABC crew, depends on which ABC crew it is. It's the early game, so it won't be Herb Street and Fowler. It won't be.
We don't know if it's the early game.
Well, we know it's not
11. It's 11 or 2:30.
They're not going to put that as a night game ever.
Yeah, it won't be. It's never a night game.
It's probably
they can't with the fair. I think I've read something that the logistics of it, like to get people out in time, they can't do it
because they have to close down the fair.
They have to close the fair
time.
Yeah,
that's smart. Yeah, I don't know. It might be it. I say that's
could be at 2:30 though.
Marcus, that's soft. It might be 2:30. It might be 11. Who knows? It doesn't matter. I think the big piece here is we have moved. It has moved to ABC. I saw recently that the SEC tweeted out like 2024 ABC, like ESPN combo, like things are happening, things are moving. It is starting to get more and more real that this is occurring, that we are leaving the Big 12 and moving to the SEC. And that's super exciting. And I think this is kind of like the first, announcement that's being made kind of around that piece.
Gotta love dead air. Anybody else? On the
I'm trying to find
no other
all
thoughts.
I'm trying to find all of the games that take place on that day, and I found a pretty good website for doing that. But finding exactly which week we play Texas on this website is difficult.
Look,
I mean, the ABC slots usually 2:30, right? Usually.
CBS.
Well, no. Sorry, the
CBS.
The CBS,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
The CBS slot is usually 2:30. That's why the game is always at 11 because ESPN or Fox want that slot to draw eyes.
Yeah.
Look, I may be of the minority opinion. If you're going to have an 11 a.m. game, OU Texas is the game to be at 11 a.m. I'm a fan. Waking up, walking to the fair.
I agree.
Walking to the fair, getting it done. Listen, it's early October in Texas. It's effing hot.
It's very hot.
2:30 kick means you're getting done at 6 o'clock. You will be baking. It's miserable. It's already miserable at 11 a.m. It can't even be worse. You know how this would be solved, Patrick, if we just had it at Jerry's World?
Exactly.
Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
Do not
You took
do
the
that.
words
I agree.
out of my mouth.
I agree.
I just-
2:30 in Jerry World, baby. Let's
I
do
wanted
it.
to get Pat fired up.
And
Right.
hey, you could have a night game because the fair doesn't matter there.
I guess,
right.
that's
Well,
fair.
but-
Move to Jerry
I
World,
think-
baby.
No, if OU Texas should not be a night game. That's weird. It has never been a night game ever.
I think it'd be
Just-
electric if it was a 7:30 kickoff.
Electric.
I just like I feel like it
Electric.
just breaks. I don't
Imagine
know.
if
I
it
don't
was
know, guys.
actually
This
in
is
the
like,
Cotton
It breaks
Bowl.
my
7:30.
knuckles because I'm getting fights.
I'm getting real like can't break with the tradition of the Cotton Bowl, you know? Like
Yeah.
there's just something about going in there really early after a couple fireball shots and you're like half awake, half kind of like super pumped up and excited, and you go in there and it's just like that's also electric, right? And I think, you know, I don't know. There's something about 11
degrees,
a.m.
though,
kick.
man. 100
It is.
degrees, though.
It's a lot.
But it's better at 11 than 2:30.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah. No, I do agree with that. But night game would be electric. We also have A&M and Bama that game or that week, so that's going to be the night game.
Yeah, that'll be
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
Kyle Field is built for a night game.
it really is.
Yeah.
It really is, though. That and Death Valley are like,
and those cultists just have their thing,
Mhm.
you know. where they
dude.
do
I'm
their
in the
thing.
middle of Aggieville right now. All I see is
Ugh.
Aggie stuff, bro.
Gross.
Mhm.
That's all I
Yeah.
see down here, man. It's crazy.
East Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Jalen Hurts graduated from OU. Congrats to Jalen. Pretty sick. He
Boomer
walked around the
Sooner.
football facility and he took a picture with the president and of the university, I should say, and not Biden. Biden wasn't there.
Biden's just
Don't
coming
start
down.
in the comments.
Biden
Don't
was in
start.
Norman.
Don't start. So yeah, congrats to Jalen Hurts. That's awesome. And anybody else on Jalen Hurts?
Got his master's. Good for him. Also, I know I saw like on the video he like met and sat down with BV, which I thought was cool. I like figured that would happen, but yeah, just a good dude. I love that he came back for it. He didn't have to do that. Like he didn't have to do the commencement. He didn't have to do all that. So it's really, really cool that he came back for it. And I think that like shows how much like this university and this experience meant to him. So
Oh yeah, he
loved
just
it.
got absolutely paid,
mhm.
and he's showing up to walk and get a math. Like he already graduated. He didn't even have to walk. Like he's Jalen Hurts. He
No,
could've
he didn't have
like,
to walk at
He
all.
could have just been like, all right, cool, mail it to me. But no,
Yeah.
he made the trip back. And the
Dude,
dude,
he didn't even need it mailed. Like it doesn't even need. It's not applicable. It's not applicable to his life.
what
But
was his master's in? Do we know?
Was it human resources?
I think that sounds right.
I think
That
it was
sounds
human
correct to me.
resources.
That sounds correct.
And
You
then
know who
OU
did-
started like majorly plugging their online master's programs because that's how he did it. Like during being an NFL quarterback. So
Mhm.
yeah.
You know
So-
what's wild? You know
Yeah, what's wild,
you know,
Matt?
You know who didn't graduate in 7 years?
Dude,
Stetson Bennett from Georgia.
bro, I
You
saw
know
that.
this
That's
group.
insane.
Wait, he didn't
we need
graduate?
to confirm that.
He apparently
There's
didn't have a
no-
degree or something.
Yeah, there's no like public evidence that he ever graduated. You know how schools
Oh my
will like
god.
throw out graphics when dudes graduate, or you'll see pictures of them in their hat and gown and stuff.
7
None of it
years.
with Stetson.
7 years. What are
Dude.
you doing?
It's freaking Van Wilder, bro. What are you doing?
You have taken so many classes. You probably get like 3 degrees. My goodness, man.
Dude.
Doug Murray.
He probably just took minimum amount of hours that was needed to stay on the football team, whatever that is.
It's amazing.
You guys ever
He's
seen
probably
Tommy
taking
Boy?
golf.
Tommy Boy, of course. I've seen
Tommy Boy, yeah, where he goes, you know, a lot of people go to college for 7 years, and David Spade goes, yeah, I know, they're called doctors, and that's not Stetson Bennett. That's not Stetson Bennett. Oh, but Georgia fans want us to believe that he's an NFL quarterback. That's for sure. All right, Pat, anything to add on that?
The Rams believe it.
No, Jalen's no, you guys, not a Bama guy.
Love that. Big facts.
100%.
All right, congratulations are in order to the program guy of all program guys. He's in the intro. Bob Stoops, XFL
big game
champion,
Bob, baby.
Big game Bob. His Dallas Renegades Gades season got the dub in the XFL championship. I love it. I love it for Bob, man.
They were 4-6 going into the playoffs and somehow made a run and beat the 10-1 DC Washington in the championship. Incredible run. We love Bob. We love the Gades. This is a great moment for, you know, City of Arlington and just like DFW in general and Bob Stoops. We love it.
You want to know my toxic trait?
What?
That I think if we had a college football playoff, an expanded college football playoff, Bob Stoops would have taken that team that he subbed in for to the national championship.
Oh yeah,
he would have won.
Probably.
Stop.
I'm toxic.
No,
I'm the worst.
He would have won.
I'm the worst.
Hey,
I'm the worst. I know. I know. He did it. He did it with the Gades. That team was terrible, and they won a championship.
Yeah.
That's what he would have done with that team if it was an expanded playoff. I make myself sick. I know I'm the worst.
Line wasn't good enough. That's
and then Caleb Williams would have stayed after a championship. You know, just let's go down the rabbit hole here.
Yeah. Matt, say something nice about Bob Stoops.
Big Game Bob does it again. They traded for Luis Perez out of the Vipers. That's what made the difference. They didn't have a quarterback. Bob Stoops needed that, along with Chuck Hayes, the offensive coordinator. I ended up watching the game. It wasn't even close. They had the defenders winning by 8.5 points. And, man, that was no farther from the truth. The Gades take over and win the XFL, hosted by The Rock. Big Game Bob does it again. First championship since his OU national championship in 2000. So crazy to think that 20-plus years later, the man's still winning. What a program guy.
Mark, anything to add?
It doesn't get better. Bob Stoops.
Bob Stoops.
Program
baby.
guy.
Bob Stoops, baby. Passing the visor. He's him. He's him. Gotta love it. All right. So random news. I mean, hey, it's the dog days, you know? So let's
wait, stop. Days. Did we do this? Or did we find this?
No, I think it was found.
This is found. This is incredible.
It was tweeted by Fox. I think it was Fox Sports or something.
Pat, go ahead. Take it away.
Please.
I honestly put this in as a joke, and I didn't know I was going to pod with you guys today, so I just wanted to hear your reactions when you saw it. But
okay.
Too late.
This is so fantastic.
Here are the list of the top schools ChatGPT, the AI tool, would commit to if they would be able to commit to a football program. Number 1, Alabama. Number 2, Clemson. Number 3, Ohio State. Number 4, Oklahoma. Number 5, Notre Dame. Number 6, Georgia. That's quite low. 7, LSU. 8, USC. 9, Michigan. 10, Texas.
This is incredible. This is
as long as ChatGPT is a 6'3", 250 linebacker, I'm all in.
Yeah,
right.
ChatGPT is a program guy now, right? We're 4.
Literally a program guy.
A program.
Literally.
And then a lot of dashes and then guy at the end.
It's so interesting. I just asked it the same question, and Clemson falls all the way down to 8 on this list. I wonder if they know something about linebacker Danny Brown coming to the Champ U barbecue that we don't know, and maybe that's what calls for that drop. But as a result, Oklahoma's at 3rd place now for me.
Oh wow,
that's
amazing!
Great.
We're moving up the rankings every day.
Pat, I think Georgia's lower because it's probably looking historically way back. Like,
Yeah.
you think of like the top programs, Bama, Ohio State, OU. Those are up there.
Texas at 10, though. They're frauds even in the AI world. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. Let us know down below in the comments. If you were a Chat GPT bot, where would you commit? Go ahead and run your program down in the comments. Leave your line of code down in the comments. Blow up the comments this week. We read every single one of your comments. We absolutely love to see it. Kansas State and Chris Kleiman agree to extension through 2030. Congrats to Kansas State. They're gonna run the Big 12 for the next.
Good for him.
For the next 6 years.
It's awesome.
Chris is great. Like he's a great coach. I think this is awesome for both him and K-State.
Yeah. Houston Chronicle reported that the Big 12 is exploring basketball and football games in Mexico. Officials targeting a 2024-25 game in Monterrey's Estadio BBVA, nicknamed the Steel Giant. If they took away an OU home game to make it international, I'd riot.
That's the thing.
Yep.
I'd riot.
I'd be so pissed.
I'd 100% riot. They already took the Dolphins and the Chiefs from me. If they took an OU game to give to Mexico or England, I'd freak out. There's no way it'd be okay. There's no way.
I mean, like who? Okay, like it says the Big 12 is exploring this. Big 12 is about to lose OU in Texas. Who is the draw for Mexico? Is it Houston?
I think Houston could be one. I think this is a way to try to get them to stay relevant in like expanding their fan base.
Like they're probably looking at the Notre Dame model, but Notre Dame is a worldwide brand.
Notre Dame, yeah.
Notre Dame is a worldwide Catholic. They are tied to Catholicism. Like that is why they're so big. What are you gonna? You're gonna send Kansas State down there. You're gonna send TCU to Monterey. Like what are you gonna do?
Seems weird.
I just don't get it. Matt, hop in.
If it was an OU away game, totally for it. OU home game would not be very pleasant. But if we were playing like at Iowa State and they're like, hey, instead of being in the cornfields of Iowa, we're going to go play in Mexico or go play overseas over the ponds, why not? I mean, it makes it exciting. I mean, that's exactly what the NFL is doing. Obviously, the NFL is more of a national-wide brand and can do things like that, but it's cool to see that they possibly could be expanding. Basketball games, I know they've done that in the NBA before as well, so
but again,
I'm just not sure if Big 12 can stretch that much.
They've done that for like the Spurs mostly, but that like completely makes sense. Like South Texas, like I think this would make sense if like Texas was the team who was going down there. Like that would make sense to me because I think there's probably a lot of brand awareness for Texas in Mexico.
I would be okay with maybe a lower tier bowl game being abroad because who cares?
Yeah, they already do that. They already do that with like the not Jamaica Bowl. What is it? There's
the Bahamas Bowl.
Thank you, Matt. Yes. Yeah. So there's a Bahamas Bowl. They can do stuff like that. Mark, jump in there. You got anything?
I would riot. I would be with you. We'd flip cars. That's part of the fun about international sports is they sometimes end with cars flipped, but not if I'm losing my Oklahoma football. Now, I was thinking the way that you make this work is you give every team in the Big 12, let's say 10-game season just for ease, right? Everyone plays 9 conference games, 4 away, 4 home. Everyone has an out-of-market game, a neutral site game. And Mexico is one of, however many cool spots that you contract with to show the games there. That's how you make this a thing that like the Big 12 is able to capitalize on and market based on. But otherwise, they're going to get like 1 week of kind of bigger coverage because it happens. But unless you put real games there, it's not going to matter. Like we're talking about putting some of the smaller games. No one is going to see Kansas play Iowa State in the Steel Giant. No one at all. Cincinnati playing Baylor. I'm so sorry. And Meg are the only ones there. It's just not happening.
No, it would be me, Meg, and Carol,
Yeah.
There you go. Well, sure. Yeah. The fam would come along.
Fam would roll
what
out.
I mean,
We would
right?
roll out for that.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's not a great billing either way. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Weird idea, but it can be salvaged. Hit me up, Red Yormark.
Yeah, let's figure it out. Matt, say "circle the wagons" in Spanish.
Circle the wagons. Woo! Not Spanish, but I
What?
will give a quick update because I don't know Spanish.
Wait, that
Hey,
was
I will give you credit. It could have gone a lot worse, right? Like I think we all know it could have gone a lot worse, right?
Yeah,
Like it should have.
I don't
It
think
could
we
have
have to
gotten
edit
borderline. It could have gotten borderline. Like Mason, you got to cut that out.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not going to try.
Credit to you. Credit to you.
We started away and then we landed all right, but
all right, go
and
ahead,
here we
Matt.
are. Quick update. Only a couple sports to hit on. So I'm going to hit on women's tennis, who made it to the super regionals, lost to number 3 Georgia 4-1, ending their season after finishing 22-10 and finishing national runners up last year. So a great season overall. Just couldn't make it past number 3 Georgia. OU softball entered the Big 12 champions, or entered the Big 12 as the number 1 seed, ended as Big 12 champions after losing last year to Oklahoma State, but then winning the softball championship. So good for them to continue their win streak of 43 in a row. They beat Iowa State in the first round 9-0, and Texas again. Mike White can suck it, losing or beating them 6-1 and securing the Big 12 championship. And they will be hosting regionals in Norman as the number 1 overall seed. And that will be this upcoming weekend against Missouri, California, and some other school that I can't pronounce. HOFSTRA.
Hofstra. Also, Mike White is soft.
Very soft. Very soft indeed. Tickets came out yesterday or 2 days ago at 10 o'clock in the morning, already sold out for the entire weekend. That is what we love to see. Norman people coming out. If you can make it to the game, make it to the outfield, whatever it is, support the Lady Sooners. I don't see any hiccups with these 3 teams, but as we get more and more into the regionals, definitely some good competition, but I don't see why this team can't make it back to the World Series, and obviously being the number 1 favorites as well. So continue good luck to them this weekend. 2 really other sports that we really have to talk about is men's golf and baseball. Men's golf just finished up their regionals in Norman at Jimmy Austin today. So if you're listening, they've already made it to their 12th straight NCAA championships, which is the second longest active streak currently. They placed second at regionals with a score of under 25, just behind Alabama, who scored under 28. So only 3 strokes, but you just have to be in the top 5 of the regionals to make it. And they cleared that by a pretty wide margin. 2 Sooners in the top 5 finished in the regionals. Drew Goodman finished second overall at under 13, and Ben Lorenz finished third overall at under 10. So if the Sooners were under 25, I mean, those 2 guys pretty much carried OU on their back all weekend, and they had an outstanding performance. They will compete at Grayhawk Course again for the championships. That is in Scottsdale, Arizona. That will be next weekend. So good luck to both OU softball and OU's men's golf as they head into the championship rounds. OU's men's baseball finally gaining some footing. They are 29-22 overall, currently on a 3-game winning streak after sweeping Gonzaga 5-2, 19-12, and 9-1. Fun fact, does anyone actually know where Gonzaga is at?
Yeah, it's in Spokane.
Where's Spokane?
Washington.
Okay, just want to make sure. Hey, sometimes when I say
Gonzaga,
did you know where
people have no idea.
Do you know where Gonzaga is?
I love Gan found this out today.
Yeah, we all knew it was in Spokane, Washington.
Beforehand, I always thought it was like closer to the Northeast, but then after years back, I realized it was in Washington. Hey, I'm just saying, if you
years
ask,
back, he says.
We also
you
years
asked-
back realized this.
I'm just saying, if I would bet 70% of people don't know where Gonzaga is at.
Gan,
Just
it's
saying.
okay.
You're right.
The entire time growing up, I thought the Washington Redskins, now called Washington Commanders, were based
Gotta believe
in
that.
the Washington the state of Washington, not Washington, D.C. So
hey, just want to make sure to keep you on your fact. Hey, geography, not well taught in schools. So I just want to make sure you guys know where everything's at. So sweeping Gonzaga in Washington, they did. We'll play UT Arlington before hosting the last Big 12 series against our Bedlam rivals, Oklahoma State, before they entered the Big 12 tourney, where last year is where they really got hot. So hopefully they can ride out these last 4 games and go into the Big 12 tourney and hopefully make a good run and hopefully make the regionals. They're really on that cut line from what I've seen. So Big 12 tourney, May 24th to the 28th. It will be in Globe Life Stadium in Arlington, Texas. So maybe we can get some boots on the ground. That will be I believe the couple days before Memorial Day or Memorial Day weekend. So we'll see if the boys can make it. But that's the quick Circle the Wagons update brought to you by Matt Gann.
I just love that Matt Gann thought his chosen child, Chet Holmgren, was scarfing down lobster rolls in the Northeast while in college. That's just amazing to me. That's wild.
I was going to ask a geography question earlier, but I didn't.
Is it about Germany?
Do you want to?
No, it was about what is the capital of South Africa?
Johannesburg?
Johannesburg?
Cape Town.
It's a
Cape
trick
Town.
Question. There are 3 capitals in South Africa.
Fraud country.
Gann always likes his trick
Fraudulent
questions,
country.
So, yeah.
Fraudulent country. Mandela running a clown show over there. He's not alive anymore. I take that back.
I got a lot wrong there.
My bad.
Great emerald mines in South Africa, though.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Keep it in. Okay. Let's all right, let's talk some
We're
NBA.
just
Thank
falling off the rails.
Thank you, Matt. Don't worry about it.
These are the rails.
We're crushing it, man. This is May podcasting at its best. All right, let's go ahead and talk some NBA news real quick before we get to the NBA draft lottery. Ryan's San Antonio Spurs get the first overall pick. But first, in the Western Conference Finals, Denver wins Game 1 over the LA Lakers. And Austin Reeves for the Lakers, though, 23 points, 50% shooting, 5 of 9 for 3, and 8 assists. But Nikola Jokic is insane. He's very, very good at basketball. And they won the game. And they won the game.
So good.
Yeah,
Wasn't he picked last on like
in the 4th round?
No, like on the All-Star, like this year. I think he was like the last pick on like the All-Star teams or whatever that they did.
No, All-Star, I wouldn't put too much emphasis on that. But you almost did have 20 and 20 before half. I mean, I think his stat line was like 18 and 17.
He's averaging a triple-double for the playoffs. That's freaking nuts. It's so crazy. And it's not like the Russell Westbrook, like, electric triple-double. It's like you wake up and he like lulls you to sleep with these slow movements and like little finesse shots. And then you look up and he's already had a triple double in the third quarter. And you're like, what happened?
It's Timmy D, baby.
There you go. That's fair.
It's Timmy D. It's Timmy D energy. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
I can support that.
It's better on offense than Tim Duncan.
Disagree.
I like it. All right, Ryan, go ahead. Jump in. Take your victory lap.
Yeah. Okay. I am going to go on a journey with you guys really quick.
Oh, goodness. All right. Hold on.
The year is 1987.
Oh, okay. Jeez.
We
went all the way back.
Hey,
Mark,
this is cutting into your must-watch time. Do you understand me? Okay.
This is worth it.
You understand me?
All right.
The year is 1987. The San Antonio Spurs have the first pick in the NBA draft, and we choose David Robinson, a king, a Hall of Famer, a hero. The following year, in 1988, a little man, a big man by the name of Greg Popovich, comes onto the scene and becomes an assistant coach for the San Antonio Spurs. Flash forward, 1996, that same coach comes back from a 2-year stint with the Golden State Warriors to become the head coach of a team that wasn't doing too hot in San Antonio, the 1996 San Antonio Spurs. Next year, 1997, Spurs get the lottery again, number 1 pick, choose one of the greatest players of all time in Tim Duncan. An incredible experience. 1999, that same team wins their first NBA championship. And over the next 22 years, they make the playoff every single year, win 5 rings. Timmy D and his winning percentage is 71.9% over his career. And all of that came from the number 1 pick in the lottery. On May 16th, 2023, the San Antonio Spurs again win the first pick in the NBA lottery, and we win the Wemby sweepstakes, baby. Like, we love France. Pop loves France. We love Tony Parker. I am so jazzed about this. This is a career, not even like a career. This is a changing moment for the Spurs organization. This is another Tim Duncan, and you guys cannot bring me down right now. He is incredible. I've watched so much of his film since last night. This dude is lights out, and I am pumped. And Pop is somehow now going to be here for 20 more years and just being rolled out in a wheelchair to coach these games. And I love it. And I can't wait. And I'm just so thrilled. I'm so excited. All right. That's it.
Let's get Ryan.
Everyone is zigging. I'm going to zag. He won't be that good.
Shut up. That's just because you lost.
He's going to be so good.
Yeah, he's going to be really
good.
Yeah, he's going to be really good. Let's go ahead and get Ryan in on the Rockets and Thunder bet now.
Let me in. I'm
Spurs
ready. I'm ready.
Leapfrog the Thunder and Rockets in the Western Conference now?
Close. Not even close. The Spurs roster is nowhere
assuredly
near.
Yes.
No.
Maybe
they'll definitely
wait.
They will definitely leapfrog the Rockets. They will definitely not the Thunder. The Thunder are way too far ahead.
Okay. We'll see.
The Spurs roster is terrible, and one guy is. Yes, he is.
So Matt, hold on, wait. I have a question for you, Matt. I have a question for you.
Yes.
Was the play-in game worth it?
Yeah. It definitely hurt us in the lottery, but Thunder still get the 12th pick. They have 4 draft picks in the first round this year. If they know they like a guy, they will use one of those draft picks, and we also have 10 more in the next 4 or 5 years. So I'm not too worried about it. We did miss out on Victor. I'm okay with that. We're one.
You're okay with missing out? No.
Dude,
okay. No one should be okay with it.
The odds for the Thunder were 1%.
Matter.
Of course, anyone would like to have Victor. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But the Spurs roster is trash. And the Thunder
I don't think it's as trash as you think it is. They're extremely young. And when
Patrick,
we're bringing
our
in
international correspondent,
a player like Victor,
I just if you've got to have a lottery for your sport, I just looked it up because I don't even know what this is. To determine the number 1 pick, individual ping pong balls are selected to create a 4-number combination.
Brother, do they do that? Don't they do that for UCL to determine matchups?
Yeah, but that's a random matchup. It's not getting a game-changing player. It's not like you get
but it's
all right, fair enough. I get where you're coming from.
We don't need to go into the merits of the lottery system. The big news coming out of the night is that the Houston Rockets are relegated to the 4th overall pick, massively increasing the pressure on current stars Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, and Alperen Şengün to become difference makers much sooner than expected. You can almost guarantee that James Harden will be brought back into the fold now to shepherd these young birds into their flights. It was really, as Tillman Fertitta said, we were praying for Victor, and it did not come together. I would love to see them package the 4th pick and something maybe like KJ Martin for a serviceable adult to be in that room, versus just letting all the children. It's like a Montessori school. That's what it's been. And unless they really want to learn, I'm right. Unless they want to learn, they don't know how to learn. Ime's going to help with that a lot, but man, it would have been nice to throw Victor into the mix.
I think that was Mark's worst pronunciation blooper in 71 episodes.
I don't think we've had one.
He's never had one.
I don't think he's had one.
I'm usually pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a word I'm not sure.
I just couldn't let that go unnoticed. Sorry.
Montessori. That's dumb. There's 2 S's.
Dude, this is how it goes.
It should be Montessori. That's ridiculous. Oh my gosh.
All right.
Rotisserie.
Ryan, give us something to watch.
Yeah, I'm going to go quick, guys. My first question, has anyone watched Drops of God?
No.
All right, I figured. Okie Trades, call me out on the comments. I love you, Oki, but call me out saying I'm just giving out soap operas. So, It was a great comment, though. I
That
really
was the
loved
comment
it.
of the week.
Yo, I ride with Oki.
So
I
do
ride with him.
Yeah,
of course.
honestly.
Okay, this week I'm going to talk about a little movie called Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I went to see it this past weekend.
Anything.
I'm not going to spoil anything. I will say that, and I'll make this quick. This is the best Marvel has been since Endgame. That's what I will say. This is the best Marvel has been since Endgame. It has humor, it has emotion, it has action. The CGI looks good. Everything looks polished. Really like it. It's a little too long, but I say that about most every movie. Really, really great stuff. Go see it in a theater. Watch the first two movies first, Volume 1 and Volume 2. But the payoff of this series is pretty incredible, and Marvel is going to miss James Gunn a lot more than James Gunn is going to miss Marvel. So I am excited to see what he does with DC. I can't say the same about some of the movies coming in next for Marvel. So that is overall my must watch. Go see it in theaters. It's a really great experience and the best time I've had in a Marvel movie in a few years.
Do you think James Gunn DC makes it?
Yes.
Where the others have not?
Yeah,
so now you're hedging your bets.
I'm hedging my bets a little bit because I don't know if the superhero genre is like going the last. But like James Gunn, if he makes movies like he's made the Guardian films, which I'm sure he will, they don't feel that they're superhero movies, don't get me wrong, but they're also like so uniquely him, and they just don't feel like part of a cog in a machine, which I think is kind of the problem that I'm having with Marvel. They feel like individual movies and like individual stories, which I think is important.
I think something fun that we could do sometime is run through the James Gunn IMDb, because that dude has had a career.
It's wild. It's nuts.
I want to pose this question while we're still on the must watch train, because I saw this posted on Twitter or something, and we can just do this really quick. But back in the days of, I think it was because I saw the Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary coming out, and Arnold was one of those guys, when he was in a movie, people flocked to the theaters to see a movie because it was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Are there movie stars like that anymore, that people will drop everything and go see because they are that person? Who'd you say?
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, but is Tom Cruise like
Brad Pitt?
I'm sure he's made some bad stuff the last few years we just haven't heard of.
Leo is that guy.
Tom Cruise? No.
Has he
Tom Cruise
spots?
Top Gun, Mission Impossible.
I would agree. Tom Cruise is the only one that comes to mind. Tom Cruise is the only one that comes to mind.
Dude, you need to go see the Mission Impossible movies. They're just incredible. Leo's there, but he's usually partnered with Scorsese. I'm a big, if we're talking, I think this is a great question, Mason, that I would love to talk more about. But are movie stars still relevant in 2023? I think the answer is yes, but I think they're more tailored to younger generations. So Timothée Chalamet, Florence Pugh, people like that are big movie stars and attract a certain type of audience. And maybe that's not us specifically. Yep. We're probably more tailored to Tom Cruise, Leo, Brad Pitt, things like that, things we grew up with.
Gotcha. All right. MVP of the week time. Let us know down below in the comments while you're along with us for the ride who your MVP of the week is. Pat, we'll start with you, brother.
Oh, can I go last?
Yeah, absolutely. Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, so I actually have an MVP, but just over the course of the podcast, I developed an LVP too. It's Norman Public School Systems, because that Spokane, Washington thing, 70% of people don't know where Gonzaga is. It's so funny to me. Anyway, for my MVP, going a little off the beaten track for me this week, if you'll allow me one moment.
We have a costume change?
Oh, if you're watching on our YouTube channel, you're watching on our YouTube channel.
We have a costume change?
Costume change.
What is happening?
National League MVP from Ronald Acuna Jr. and the NL East leading Atlanta Braves. Wow. 5 games up on the Florida Marlins. And let me just read you a small spattering of the things that Ronald Acuna actually leads the National League in at this point in the season. Okay. He's hitting 346, which he doesn't, but he leads the league in runs, hits, stolen bases, on base percentage, OPS, OPS plus, I don't know what those mean, and total bases. He's got 2.79 WAR, which is wins above replacement, and that's like point something crazy over the next guy. Baseball is ridiculous, and Ronald Acuna Jr. is even more ridiculous. Last season, he was hampered with an injury, didn't work out for him, but in 21, he was the National League MVP, and he's right back on that track. Get in on the Braves if you haven't yet. It's the bandwagon you want to be on. Ronald Acuna Jr., program guy MVP. Let's get it.
He's absolutely great. He's stunning.
I cannot believe that Mark just stole Gan's like MO of coming in with like a costume change. And incredible.
I know.
Like what incredible like fuel to add to like the fire that is that rivalry. I love it so much.
You're part of it now with the Spurs. So all right. Go ahead. Go ahead, Matt. Who's your MVP?
This one should be pretty obvious. We've talked about it over the last few days. It's the Dallas Stars advancing to the conference finals after winning Game 7, where me and my roommate were at. It was electric against the Seattle Kraken, who are an expansion team. They've only been in the league in 2 years, but they definitely gave Dallas a run for their money. The guy really leading the way is Rope Hintz with 19 points this postseason. That is second in the league, only behind Connor McDavid, and they're no longer playing. So he has a chance to become the MVP of the playoffs if he continues his hot streak. And we have 20-year-old Wyatt Johnson, who scored an absolute dagger in that Kraken game. He is absolutely phenomenal. We play Vegas starting this Friday. Going to be an incredible series. Go Stars.
I will say this. I give you a lot of crap, and granted, you deserve a lot of it. And this is not sarcastic. Genuinely, I'm happy for you that you got to see that Game 7 in person. That's sick. That's a memory you'll have forever. That's dope. That's really, really cool. So credit to you, Matt, for sticking out. You are a Stars fan, not like the fraudulent Rogers fan that you are. You're actually a Stars fan, and I can support that. I love that for you.
Game 7s are electric.
Is this like a club team? What's going on here?
Who are the Stars?
Yeah.
Is this Juco?
Are they in they're the ones in Frisco. It's the Frisco
Is
Stars.
this your indoor team you were telling us about, Matt? Congratulations, man.
Game 7.
I was so nice, Matt. Matt, I was so nice. And then
that's awesome.
They roasted you. All right. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, I've talked a lot at the end of this pod, so my MVP is NBA lottery gods, whatever we want to say. Incredible. Love it.
Bullshit.
Bye. My MVP, Jason Tatum, 51 points in Game 7 against the fraudulent Philadelphia 76ers. Blown a 3-2 lead. Shout out to Doc Rivers. 10 Game 7 losses. He quit on the Boston Celtics. He quit on the LA Clippers. He quit on the Philadelphia 76ers. He's a terrible coach, but that's beside the point. Jason Tatum, my MVP, 51 points when the world was barking at him for being terrible through 3 quarters in Game 6. He showed up in the 4th quarter of Game 6, showed up the entire game for Game 7. He is that dude. He has 18 points in the first half of Game 1 that is going on right now. Shout out to Jason Tatum, the real guy. He's going to get paid a lot of money. A lot of money. Okay, Patrick.
Give me the Celtics for knocking out James Harden.
Yep.
And the Nuggets for and the Nuggets for knocking out KD. Even more so than Nuggets for knocking out Kevin Durant, because I just really don't like Kevin Durant at all.
I'd love to get a full Patrick like Oklahoma City Thunder former trio breakdown sometime.
God, I would love it.
I know.
The
8 minutes or so on a wrap.
And then Westbrook, who we don't have a food name for yet, but maybe we'll get there.
But he'll find something.
Don't ever shame Russell Westbrook.
I can't. I can't. Again, when we saw him live, he was, just worked so hard.
He was electric for the Clippers. When he moved over from the Lakers to the Clippers, he was electric.
He's really you can tell he's really good. All right, Mason, wrap us up.
All right, 30 seconds of soccer, Patrick. Champions League recap. Hurry, real quick.
Yeah. So, Man City wins 4-0 today, and they tied 1-1 in Madrid, so they're through to the finals. They will play against Inter Milan, who beat AC Milan in the other semifinals. Inter Milan had to play Benfica, AC Milan, and someone else who's not very good, so they had a very easy route
to the Champions League final. Keep in mind that Bayern beat Inter Milan twice this year in the group stage, 2-0 each time. So does Inter deserve to be there? Sure. Easy path. Yes. They're going to get their butt kicked against Man City. And Pep Guardiola is going to win the Champions League, and that he is notorious for not being able to win that with stacked teams. So it kind of sucks that he's going to win it this year.
We're going for the treble. We're going for the treble. FA Cup, UCLA, and
you only have to win. You only have to win one game, right? It's not an aggregate. It's the finals.
Just one game. Yeah.
It's in Istanbul, Turkey.
Constantinople.
Nice.
What'd you say?
He said Istanbul incorrectly. All right, so that's gonna do it. Episode number 71 in the books.
What was Pat's MVP?
Oh, Pat.
Oh
no, he said
the Celtics.
He said it.
Okay,
He said it.
I thought you were just like take the Celtics. I thought that was just like a continuation of Mason.
Celtics are the balls.
That's right,
Patrick. How excited are you for the return to Houston?
I'm not a fan of it. It depends what we give up. If we're giving up a lot, this is a silly move. Because he doesn't have three good years, and he needs to have 3 good years if we want.
It would probably be 4.
Did he just declined a $36 million option, right?
Yeah,
something like that. Oh yeah,
yes.
He's getting
the max he can sign. I think is like 4 years, 130 something somewhere.
Wow,
and he's getting the whole thing probably.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Somebody's going to pay him. Somebody will pay him. 100%. That's going to do it. Episode number 71 in the books. One more time. If you can comment down below, like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Trying to hit 1,600 subscribers now. 1,600 is the new number, folks. Help us out. Subscribe costs you $0. You can follow us on Twitter at Program Guys with a Z, Instagram Program Guys with a Z, our Facebook page Program Guys Podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, that you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all of that good stuff. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We'll be back next week, people. Patrick, take us out.
Keep pushing it, baby.